What do you think would have happened to those people 20 years ago who were experimenting with BDSM that were found out by their friends or colleagues?
Believe it or not, it's probably not much different than today. Even by today, people don't understand. Vanilla people, regular people, don't understand what is a BDSM relationship or a submission or a domination and submission relationship. All that people see is what they have seen on TV. And if you look at movie like Story of O or Secretary, which was one of the latest movie, there's always something wrong with these people that do these movies. So you cannot go there and say, well, I'm somebody who pay my tax, I'm a good worker, I'm a good family man, and I'm into BDSM. I mean, it doesn't work for these people. And this is some of the things that today we're trying to fight against.
Catherine, would you agree with that statement? That it's the same stigma today as it was 20 years ago?
I think that it's always going to be something very individual. I think that we've come some distance. However, I still think that the female dom, male submissive is a lot more easily accepted or readily accepted in society than the male dom. They tend to see the male dom as basically just, a wife-beaten man, and not realize that this is consensual, that they're one of the differences, and the main difference between BDSM and abuse is that BDSM can be stopped at any time, and that it's agreed to, and whereas if a man beating his wife, the woman says stop, he's not going to go, okay, honey, and stop, but it's still looked at that way by society a lot, that it's abuse when it's a male as the dominant. So I don't think that's really changed.
But it's surprising. If Catherine said to someone that she's a female dom, people would smile like, oh yeah, that's cool. And if I say to the same people I'm a male dom, I'm a woman beater for them. I mean, you can see that there's a big difference in value here.
When I tell people if I normally will just present myself as a dom a lot of the time. Well, partly because if we're poly, which means we will play with other people, and we'll only play with anybody else if I'm dominant over them. I'm only submissive to Pierre. So it stops those ideas, first of all, but also because if I'm coming out of the closet to somebody and I say to somebody I'm a submissive, I've actually had people say to me, oh, there's nothing really wrong with you. I'm sure you can find a good man. You don't have to let one do that to you, and it's like, no, you're not getting this. As opposed to if I say I'm dominant, and they think, then it's more like a wink, wink, nudge, nudge. Oh yeah, haha, this is, then they get, titillated over it. Whereas the idea of the female submissive just doesn't, it's just not accepted.
Yeah.
Let's talk about, assuming there's someone listening right now who probably is not practicing BDSM, but is curious about it. Let's just get some of the basics out. What does BDSM stand for, and what do you think BDSM is?
You want to go, or?
Sure. You asked. BDSM is bondage and discipline. It also stands for domination and submission, and of course S&M, which is sadism masochist. And it's basically an amalgamation of all of these different things, and it can be all of it or just one or two parts of it. It really encompasses a wide range of sexual practices. The main basis of it, that it always should be, is usually it's called safe, sane, and consensual. And the main one on this is consensual. In other words, both parties are consenting to this. So even if you see something where it looks like one of the parties is being forced, it's a role playing. They have the power to stop it. It's done by something called a safe word, or it's like a code word that can stop or slow down the play, just to make sure that it's really enjoyable for both parties. sometimes part of the role playing or the scene may be to be rough with the other person. And as the dominant, I know that I definitely want to make sure that it's okay what I'm doing. I wouldn't want to do it to somebody if it was real. I wouldn't want to actually force somebody to do something. It's fun in an erotic sense if it's more like a play.
Pierre, do you have anything to add to the definition?
No, I think she did a great job there.
All right, you're listening to Frank Talks Pleasures and Lifestyles. We'll be back right after this.
Would you like to sponsor Frank Talks? Visit www.franktalks.com and contact Frank, because he has to be. Sponsorships are always welcome, whether it's prize giveaways, parting gifts for our guests, studio equipment, accessories for the Frankmobile, or a host of other wonderment. Help Frank Talks make the world a better place, one interview at a time.